Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Satisfactory, the only game where work outside of work feels fun. In the last episode, we completed our onboarding tasks, learned the basics of factory construction, met some of the locals here on our alien planet, and at the end of the episode, we were tasked with building the space elevator and completing Tier 1 and 2 of the game. The next steps that I would like to take is move our little base from up on that hill down towards these iron nodes. As we figured out in the last episode, these iron nodes are normal, all three of them, as opposed to the iron nodes we were working on, which are both impure. We're going to get way more resources down here, as well as there's a limestone node there, and a limestone node there. Copper is still up over the hill, but we can deal with that later. But before we get started with a factory down here, the foundation of every good factory is a power station. And currently, we only have two little biomass burners that come with the hub. And they only provide, I think, 20 megawatts each. Yes, 20 megawatts. That is not going to be enough for what I have planned. While this factory isn't going to be huge in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be much bigger than our little 3 machine setup we have right now. So in this episode, I would like to build a starting power station. It's all going to be biomass burners, so you do have to keep it filled up, but it will keep us going for the entirety of Tier 1 and 2 and get us until our first coal setups. But before we build this, or before we start on this power setup, there's a couple things that I need to unlock. Mainly, I want to get the foundations, because everything looks a bit nicer when it's up on foundations. And see here, I would like to get obstacle clearing. This will unlock solid biofuel, which is essential to the power station that I have imagined. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on unlocking these. And just real quickly, while I go about unlocking these two upgrades, I'm actually going to delete and move this whole setup down to the new area. And I just wanted to briefly show, you can see that I was manually dismantling one thing at a time. You can actually mass dismantle things just by holding left control, or you don't even have to hold it. You can just click on everything that you want. And if you click something accidentally that you don't want to delete, you just hit control again and it will unmark it. That way you can mass delete up to 50 things. Just makes things a little more efficient. And then you just hold that. Boom. Just like that. Like we were never here. Alright. So you all will be joining me in progress here. About halfway through, I completed completing the obstacle clearing milestone, which gives you access to the chainsaw and solid biofuel. It was not hard, took me maybe 10-15 minutes, and then I made all the resources to make our handy dandy chainsaw here. We're going to go ahead and make that. Alright. Like that, we got a little chainsaw for ourselves. And if you see in the bottom left hand corner, you can see a solid biofuel indicator, and it has a 0 next to it because I have 0 biofuel. That is what you need to power the chainsaw. So, see in the crafting bench, we can now craft solid biofuel, and you just craft it out of biomass, which you craft from leaves and wood. Super simple, couple step process, but not a big deal. But solid biofuel takes quite a while to make by hand, and you don't make a ton of it. We're gonna make a couple, and then while our machines are working here, getting me the resources for the next stage, I'm gonna go chop down as many trees and bushes and whatnot as I can and fill my inventory with biomass, because that is gonna be the first step of our power plant. So I will see you guys back when I am done with the next upgrade. Alright, while I've been sitting here cutting down trees, I have found a new enemy. He's shooting fireballs at me. Oh, he got me. You're not so tough.
Samples of unknown alien species acquired. Their weaponized plasma is most likely stored as a stable chemical substance in an organ close to their mouth, and only turns volatile when exposed to one
Seems
of the
we have
chemical
a
elements in the air.
Mercer
Preserve the
sphere here, so
remains
we
for
can pick
later
that up.
study.
Seemed that he was guarding that.
The astrobiologist Dr. D.M. Mercer was the first to recognize the presence and probable nature of these alien artifacts. These chain-melted state spheres are named in his honor. Each sphere emits a unique signal and will require study to determine local application, store it for later use.
So I guess we'll study that later and figure out what it does. Back to chopping. Okay. So, the past little while, I have worked on completing base building, which is just some basic resources I had to gather, and the obstacle clearing. So now we can make solid biofuel, and we can put our little power station on some foundations. Now, it's going to take some more resource gathering to get the stuff we need to build this, but I'm going to take you up to the spot where I'd like to build this and go over a bit how I want it to work. Now, I think I want to put it up at the top of the hill here where we originally started out. Nice little flat area here. Not many resources around, so it's not going to be blocking anything. And then we could expand our power lines down over the hill to where we are, up to the copper, and anywhere else we may need. Now, I did draw up a little bit of a diagram here on a piece of paper, so I will go ahead and explain it a bit. It's a bit of an overkill power station for what you need at this level, but I don't really want to have to worry about power, so I can just plow through these first couple tiers. Now, what you need if you want to build this along with me, feel free, you don't have to. There are many other ways to build power stations, but I'm going to go for a 15 biomass burner power station. If you see here on biomass burner, they make 30 megawatts each. So this is going to be a 450 megawatt power station, which is pretty hefty for the beginning, I believe. Now, you see the resources in the bottom. It's going to take a fair bit of resources to get 15 of these. I'm going to have to spend some time getting those. And I'm going to put it all up on foundations, which again is going to be some more resources. But it just makes it look nicer. The beginning of the factory, I'm going to have 2 constructors turning biomass. Basic biomass. So I'm going to have to create the biomass myself, which it's not a huge deal. Especially with the chainsaw, you can make... I'm not going to run down there right now, but I made a storage box full of biomass, and I still have more in my inventory, and that took me maybe 5 minutes. We're going to have 2 of these constructors making solid biofuel, which is going to add up to 60 solid biofuel a minute. And the reason it's only 60 is because this constructor can take 120 biomass and turn it into 60, but our belts that we have only support 60 biomass a minute. So it's going to be half of this per constructor. So we're going to have 2 of these constructors making solid biofuel, which will combine onto one belt. So we will have one belt of 60 solid biofuel, and then it will just go straight in a line, and we will have 7 biomass burners on each side, 1 at the end. Will be super easy to build, should look fairly nice, I'm hoping. So I will join you back when I start constructing. I just gotta gather up some more resources. Alright, so while I was gathering resources and planning this build, I realized that we don't get splitters and mergers for free. I was looking in here, I thought we unlocked them already. We have not. We actually need to unlock logistics as well. That will give us mergers and splitters. Very essential for this build. And I feel like a dummy that I wasn't paying attention and didn't think to unlock these. So we're going to go ahead and unlock these as well, because that will allow us to merge our biomass or our biofuel constructors onto the same belt, and then split that belt off into all of our biomass burners. Very important. Stupid overlook by me. Just an additional step. Okay. Now, I'm still making a buttload of plates down at the main camp down there, because, well, we need a buttload of plates. But while that was happening, I just wanted to come up here and start building the foundations and show you guys a bit about how it's going to look, how the layout's going to be, just so you get a general idea. Now, I prefer to use the 4-meter foundations. Something about the cubeness of it, the thickness, I guess, feels better to me. It also prevents clipping on the ground, because this game does not, like, terraform the ground, I guess, when you place things. So if you put a small foundation, like, on a rock, the rock will clip through it. So this kind of just hides things a bit better. So I think we're going to start right here. Looks like a good spot. So the front of our little power station here is actually going to be a little bit wider than the rest of it, because here, like this, we need to have our constructors making solid biofuel. And I think I might have made this too big. Nope, that's fine. Okay, so, and I did unlock the mergers and splitters in the meantime. So I'm going to go ahead and get these constructors put down just so you can see how it looks. Now, constructors are a little big than other things, and you can't put them perfectly on the foundation. If you want it to look right, you have to, like, move it forward just a little bit. The clips on both sides. Now, both of these constructors are going to make solid biofuel. Go ahead and set that up. And I said before that these are actually only going to be making 30 biofuel a minute, because our belts cannot handle 120 biomass. And then I'm actually going to put storage containers on both sides of these. And that will probably be fine. So all we have to do, we just have to turn leaves and wood into biomass, and then I'm just going to load these up with biomass. Then our belt, take that biomass and feed it into the constructor. such. And then that constructor will start making biofuel. Now, like I said before, they're only going to be making 30 each. So we're going to put a merger in between both of these going that way. So we will have 30 biofuel in there, 30 biofuel in there, which will create a belt of 60 going that way, which is where our power stations are going to be. And that is why the front of this part here just needs to be a little wider, just so we can fit this little setup. Now you could definitely tuck it in and make it look nicer. You can use multiple levels, which we will do in the future. But to be honest, once we get to coal power, all of this is just going to get erased. We're going to scrap it, take the resources, build bigger factories. Just because once we get coal power, you don't have to do anything to maintain that. It will all just work forever as long as the resources don't get backed up, or you don't, like, one of your power stations doesn't run out because you messed up when building it. So we're never going to come back here and keep filling these things up because it's just a waste of time. So I'm not going to try to make this look very nice. I mean, it's going to be organized, but I'm not going to put walls on it. I'm not going to put doors on it. We don't need to do all that. Now, each biomass burner is 1 foundation wide. We need 7 that are going to be side by side. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to chop down this tree real quick. Maybe this one as well. Just to give us space. Perfect. So that will give us room for 14 biomass burners. And then we actually need 1 spot on the end right there. That'll be our 15th. And that'll mark the end of the power station. Now, hopefully I have enough concrete for all this. The only concrete nodes I have access to right now are impure, so it's a little bit slow getting all the concrete. And there are other build modes, so right now I'm building one at a time. You can actually change it to Zoop, which I should be doing, where you click, drag how many you want, click again, and boom. Builds them all for you. I think you can do 10 in a row. And this is what our power station is going to look like. Very simple, not super beautiful, but it gets the job done. I mean, you could put walls on it, put a roof on it, door, windows, all that. I mean, this is a sandbox game for all. So I'm just going to build the bones of this for now because I definitely don't have the resources to build 15 of these things. But we're going to go through and put our splitters down. We have enough resources for that. We probably don't, but I can get a couple down. You just want to make sure you line up your inputs and your outputs so that everything works properly. We need 7 of these. And I just like to put everything right in the middle of the foundations. It just pleases my OCD. And just like that. And each we'll belt everything together, but each splitter will take our belt and split it in 3 different ways evenly. So we will slowly lose. Each biomass burner burns 4 biomass a minute. So it will be 4 biomass, 4, 4, 4, 4, all the way down. So now that this is done, I'm going to wait to belt it once all of our biomass burners are down. And I guess I can show you our biomass burner. Go here like this. Just line up our input. And we're just going to have a row of these. Like that. Simple. And we will get our power lines in here as well. I'm not going to turn it on until we have use for it because I don't want the them just burning biofuel. But we will get everything set up. And I do think I should actually get these started. I have a ton of biomass that needs turned into biofuel. So I'm going to go ahead and get these started, and I will have you guys join me back when I have the resources for the rest of the biomass burners. Now, while I was sitting here getting resources, I just wanted to show this helpful little tip. When you have a big project like this, and you want to build it all at once, instead of trying to calculate how many resources you need to build everything, Satisfactory has a built-in little feature here where you hover over the thing that you need and this little plus icon. So I believe we have one biomass burner built up there, so we need 14 more. So I'm going to click 14. You see here on the side of my screen, the right hand side, it shows me the exact amount of resources I need to build 14 of those biomass burners. And you can add on other things as well. Let's say I need 10 power poles. So now it has my 10 power poles, my 14 biomass burners, tells me all the resources I need. Super helpful. Just a little unknown tip. Make sure you use that. Saves you a lot of time. Alright, so welcome back. I just wanted to show you guys a bit what I've done in the meantime. So I just ran a power line from our starting biomass burners just up the hill. I tried to make it look somewhat nice. And then over to our little station here. And you'll see at the beginning, I made a little change. I wanted to, and I meant to, make a buffer in between our constructors. So in here, you'll see we have biomass. Goes in here, turns into biofuel. What I wanted to have was one of these storage boxes here, where the biofuel can pool up if the biomass burners aren't using it all. Dummy me forgot to do that when I built this whole thing, and instead of extending it, I decided to make this arguably worse system, where I turn this merger around. So instead of going that way, it goes this way into this little storage box, which is our buffer, and then it comes up and around with this little splitter here, and then down into our system. So just a little reroute. I mean, it doesn't change our efficiency at all. It doesn't look the greatest, but it's fine. Gives a little quirk to our station. And then I also, you'll see I wired it up. I just brought the power in, connected it all in a row, nothing fancy. And then each of these power poles will connect. So let's go ahead. I don't quite have enough plates, I think, to wire everything or to belt everything up. But we can get this place down. I do have plates being made. So by the time we're done, should be enough for us. Go ahead and just get our little stations put down here. And then of course, what I said before, the last thing we're going to do is wire everything. Just so it gives the chance for the biofuel to make it through the system. And have our one little station on the end there. Just go down and do this. And eventually the building process gets a little more efficient when you have like the hover pack and whatnot. You can kind of sit above everything. There are like lookout towers you can use. I found them to be more tedious than anything, and I don't really use them very much. That's going to be our station there. We just need to belt it all up, and again, I don't know if I have enough plates. I'm going to have to look. But I will get it moving here. And we do not have enough solid biofuel in the system yet to fill all of these up. That's why I wanted to get the those constructors working, just so we can get the biofuel flowing. I'm actually gonna put these ones at the end in first. Well, I shouldn't do that. Well, the ones in the beginning. I can show you how these splitters split things off. So each time the biofuel goes in, it will go one that way, one this way, one that way, evenly. You'll see these burn 4 per minute. Get these all filled up. And it will just keep going through the system. And eventually, for big factories, you do have to do the math on how much each belt is going to use. Oh, we're out of plates. So you have to calculate as each one of these pulls 4 off of your main line if you're going to have enough to feed the ones at the end by the time it gets through. So it's going to take a little bit for these to feed. We do have lots of biomass that needs to be turned into biofuel. We do have a little buffer here pushing stuff through the system. I'm going to go get more plates while this works. And we will get this turned on shortly. Alright, I finished belting up the ones at the end there, and I just wanted to show that as this biomass, or as this biofuel works its way through the system, these are filling up. Once these are full, obviously they won't accept anymore, and these belts will back up and it will start just pushing all of the biofuel down this way. Then these will fill up, it will push this way, and so on and so on. It's really good to let your machines fill up, and I mean this goes for every factory, not just power plants. Let all the belts fill up. That way everything is working at 100% efficiency. Because if I started all of this, those biomass burners would start burning fuel. And then the ones at the end would never get the biofuel that they need to even start working, because these ones are just burning it. So it's better to just wait. I'll probably give it 20, maybe 30 minutes. Fill all this up. It'll get faster and faster as it gets down the line. And I'll join you when it's time to turn them on.
This semi-slug species seems to persist entirely through absorbing and storing energy from its surroundings. Studying this could provide new methods for improving fixit production line efficiency. Store this potential resource for later use.
While I'm out exploring, I just wanted to say, sometimes it can feel like you have to sit there and babysit your factories. And I guess a bit at the beginning you kind of do. But don't be afraid to let your factory sit, go out and explore. I didn't even realize that's our power station right there. Just over the hill is this little crash. I got that little slug thing. Don't be afraid to go out and explore. I mean, this world is massive. There's so many things to find. All kinds of different resources. Yeah. I got this new ore. Gonna have to figure out what it does. So, I mean, sometimes, especially right now, I mean, I'm just waiting for the biofuel to fill up the power factory, whatever, power station. So I just came out, do a little bit of exploring, see what's out here. Drop pod needs 40 megawatts of power. We have... yeah, we can make 2 of these. this whole thing opened up. Hold on, pal. There we go. Get there. Hard drive.
Damaged hard drive successfully acquired. All pioneers are contractually obliged to preserve and secure any recovered hard drives for future analysis, which may result in benefits to the Fix-It mission. Speculation as to why there are crashed freighters in your Fix-It designated zone is discouraged as specified in your contract.
Alright, I won't ask about why this crashed here. Alright, so we can research this hard drive and unlock some new stuff later on. It looks like we can dismantle these. You used to not be able to dismantle these. That's cool. We got a whole bunch of resources. These plates, some cable, other stuff we haven't even unlocked yet. Very nice. We'll say I found another one of these crashes. When you go out and explore, make sure to bring some concrete and some plates so you can ramp up places. This is all the way up on top of a mountain. I don't know if I can even open this one. Oh. Oh, I already got one of these thingies. The other drop. Now we got 2 hard drives. I also got some quartz. Another one of those purple thingies. Other stuff. Cool beans.
Harvest the scripture. Compose it into a blood song.
Okay. Alright. Here we are. Back at our power station. You can see the ones on the very end are now full. 200. And every single belt is full. At the very end there, just have our constructor still making stuff. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start hooking these up. Now it doesn't really matter what order they're hooked up in. I'm just going to go down and come back around. These will start burning and adding onto our power grid. Like such. And we'll hook this one up as well. And just like that, we have a full power station online. If you look at our power pole here, you can see that we have, it's 490 megawatts, but that is also counting the 2 biomass burners attached to the hub, which we're actually going to take the biomass out of those and we're not going to use them. Just because we have to fill those up manually, it's just annoying. I don't want to deal with that. So this is done. If there's anything you think I can improve on, please leave it in the comments. I'm still learning. And I haven't played in years, so things are very different than they used to be. And this is where we're going to leave this episode off. If you liked the video, please like the video and subscribe. It really helps me out. And in the next episode, I think we are going to start a proper iron factory there. We'll have a factory that makes plates, rods, screws, maybe even reinforced plates. We'll see if we get that far. And we'll unlock a couple more tiers in the hub here. Unlock maybe tier 2 belts and the MAM and stuff like that. Alright, well, I appreciate you all for watching. And I will see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.